This war isn't one with courage or strategy, barked Commander Healer, slamming a scaled fist on the holographic table. It's one with terror, and humans bring the kind of terror even the Void Shrikes fear. The assembled commanders of the allied species Paka murmured among themselves, some leaning forward in their seats while others shifted uncomfortably. They had seen the human dossier, they'd heard the whispers, and now here they were, staring at the human contingent, or rather, what the humans had brought with them. "Permission to speak freely," said Captain Drell, a crustacean-like Verth hawk whose kit gleamed under the sterile glow of the strategy room. "Granted," Healer replied. "You mean to tell me they're serious about these creatures?" Drell's mandibles clicked nervously. "We've all read the files. We've all fought the Shrikes. How does releasing feral beasts, no matter how horrifying, tip the scales? Because," interrupted Major Cole of Earth's Defense Force, "you've never seen them fight alongside us." Cole's voice was calm, but there was a glint in his eyes that made even the most hardened warriors uneasy. He motioned to the darkened end of the room, where a set of reinforced holding cells stood silent, the air heavy with the scent of musk and iron. "Open the first cell," he ordered. The automated locks disengaged with a hiss, and the thick metal door slid open. Out stepped a massive creature, its powerful limbs rippling with muscle under a coat of dark fur. Its eyes burned yellow in the dim light, and its jaws revealed teeth designed to tear through flesh and bone alike. The beast emitted a low, guttural growl that reverberated through the room. "This is a grizzly bear," Cole said. "On Earth, it's considered a keystone predator. Its claws can eviscerate, its jaws can crush skulls, and it can run faster than most of your armored vehicles." The room was silent. Even Drell's mandibles ceased their anxious clacking. "Impressive," Healer admitted, though his tone was laced with skepticism. "But a single predator cannot defeat a swarm. The Shrikes outnumber us millions to one." "One," Cole smirked. "We didn't bring one." Another cell opened, then another, and another. Out came more bears, their sizes ranging from large to absolutely monstrous. The scent of raw power filled the air, thick enough to make even the hardiest of the commanders shift in their seats. But Cole wasn't done. "Release Unit 2, he said. The next set of doors revealed sleek, sinewy forms. Black panthers padded silently into the room, their movements like liquid shadow. Their eyes glowed faintly, scanning the room with predatory intent. One snarled, showing off razor-sharp teeth, and several commanders reflexively gripped their weapons. "These," Cole continued, "are apex ambush predators. They're fast, silent, and deadly. We've trained them to target Shrike command nodes, crippling their hive intelligence." "And what prevents these creatures from turning on us?" asked Thorn, a towering-through warrior. His kind prided themselves on brute strength, yet even he looked uneasy. "You misunderstand their loyalty," Cole said. "Humans don't dominate predators, we form bonds. They've been raised to see us as their pack, their pride. Their loyalty is absolute. But these are animals," Thorn insisted. "Savage instincts cannot be reasoned with." Cole stepped closer, his voice lowering. "And yet, savage instincts are exactly what we need." He turned back to the cells. "Release Unit 3. The final set of doors opened, and a wave of tension rolled through the room. Massive reptiles emerged, their scales shimmering under the artificial light. Crocodiles, prehistoric monsters with jaws built to clamp and thrash, slid into view. Their eyes gleamed with cold intelligence, and their tails swished menacingly across the floor. Healer's scaled face paled. "What madness is this?" "Controlled madness," Cole said. "Crocodiles have existed on Earth since before the age of humanity. They've survived extinction events that wiped out entire species. They are living weapons." The commanders stared at the predators, their usual air of superiority replaced by a mix of awe and discomfort. The grizzly bears growled softly, the panthers prowled, and the crocodiles lay in deceptively calm stillness. Their sheer size and presence radiated menace. "These are just the beginning," Cole said. "Our world is full of creatures that have evolved to kill, to survive against impossible odds. The Shrikes think they know terror, but they've never faced predators like ours. And the humans themselves?" Drell asked, his voice subdued. "We're the ones who learn from them," Cole replied. "We've spent centuries studying their instincts, their strategies. When we fight, we don't just bring soldiers. We bring the lessons of a planet that's been fighting since its creation. Earth is a crucible, and we've mastered its fury." "This is unorthodox," Healer said, his gaze flicking between Cole and the predators. "But perhaps unorthodox is what we need." "Exactly," Cole said. You fought the Shrikes with logic and technology. We'll fight them with chaos and fear. Healer straightened. Very well. The allied species pack will integrate these units into our operations, but the results better be worth the risks. Cole nodded. Oh, they will be. As the commanders filed out, the grizzly bears roared, the panthers snarled, and the crocodiles snapped their jaws, as if sensing what lay ahead. For the first time, the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had a glimpse of Earth's true strength, not in its technology, but in the primal ferocity of its life. Humanity had joined the war, and they weren't coming alone. The transport ship's cargo bay was a cacophony of growls, roars, and metallic clangs as reinforced cages shifted with the ship's motion. The predators, grizzlies, panthers, crocodiles, were restless, their instincts sharpening with every passing moment. Major Cole stood at the observation deck above the bay, watching the handlers make last-minute adjustments. Beneath the noise, there was an undeniable tension in the air. We're 10 minutes from planetfall. A voice crackled over Cole's comm. It was Lieutenant Harris, his operations officer. The Shrike stronghold's defenses are active, but they haven't detected us yet. Good, Cole replied. Tell the handlers to prep Unit Alpha for immediate deployment. Understood. Cole turned to his second in command, Sergeant Kellen, a rugged man who had once worked as a wildlife conservationist. Kellen had been instrumental in adapting Earth's predators to combat scenarios, and his expertise had saved lives more than once. Kellen, Cole said, are the tranquilizers loaded? Yes, sir, Kellen replied, in case anything goes wrong. But I'd be more worried about the Shrikes than our beasts. Cole smirked. Let's hope it stays that way. The Shrikes had been an enigma for years, a hive-mind species with insectoid features. They were relentless in their conquest, consuming planets and stripping them of resources. Their swarms overwhelmed even the most advanced defenses. The allied species pack had thrown everything at them, plasma cannons, orbital bombardments, bioengineered toxins, but nothing had broken their hold. Until now. Cole thought Earth's approach was unorthodox, yes, but it was also unpredictable. And unpredictability was the one thing the Shrikes couldn't adapt to. The ship's descent was smooth, the automated systems guiding it to a forested area near the Shrike stronghold. The dense canopy provided cover from aerial detection, and the terrain's unevenness would give their predators an advantage. As the landing gear engaged with a soft thud, Cole gave the order, deploy Unit Alpha. The cargo bay doors opened, flooding the space with the dim light of the planet's red-tinged sky. Handlers released the grizzly bears first. The massive beasts lumbered down the ramp, sniffing the air. Their instincts were already attuned to the unfamiliar environment. Next came the panthers, their sleek forms disappearing into the underbrush almost immediately. Finally, the crocodiles were released into a nearby river. Their powerful tails propelled them silently through the water. Telemetry is live, Harris reported. Each predator's biomonitor is transmitting perfectly. Good, Cole said, his eyes fixed on the holographic map in front of him. Icons representing the predator's locations began to populate the display, moving toward the Shrike perimeter. The plan was simple. The predators would create chaos, drawing Shrike forces away from their stronghold and opening a path for the human assault team to strike at critical infrastructure. Unit Alpha is in position, Harris said. Shrike scouts are beginning to converge on their location. Cole's lips twitched into a grin. Let's see how they handle Earth's finest. The first engagement came within minutes. A Shrike patrol, 6 warriors armed with plasma lances, approached the grizzly bears cautiously. The bears, unfazed by the alien weapons, charged with terrifying speed. One bear swatted a Shrike, sending it flying into a tree with a sickening crunch. Another clamped its jaws onto a warrior's thorax, shaking it violently until the exoskeleton cracked. The Shrikes are retreating, Harris said, disbelief evident in his voice. Not retreating, Kellen corrected, watching the live feed. Regrouping. They don't panic. Remember, they're trying to figure out what they're dealing with. But the bears didn't give them the chance. The ambush continued, with panthers striking from the shadows. Their claws found weak points in the Shrike's armor. In the river, the crocodiles attacked with brutal efficiency, dragging Shrikes into the water and holding them under until their struggles ceased. They're adapting faster than expected, Harris warned. Exactly as planned, Cole said. Kellen, prepare Unit Bravo. It's our turn. While Unit Alpha continued their assault, the human soldiers deployed, clad in adaptive camouflage and armed with kinetic rifles. They moved through the forest with practiced precision. The predators had drawn the majority of Shrike forces away, leaving gaps in their perimeter. The humans exploited these gaps, planting explosives at key relay stations and supply depots. Charges are set, Kellen reported. Waiting on your command. Hold for now, Cole said. Let's make sure Unit Alpha gets clear. The predators had done their job, but they were far from finished. As the Shrikes began to regroup in force, Cole gave the recall order. Handlers activated sonic beacons, drawing the predators back toward the extraction point. The grizzly bears were the first to return, their fur matted with alien ichor. The panthers came next, slinking through the shadows, their eyes still glowing with predatory focus. The crocodiles emerged from the river last, their armored bodies unscathed. All units accounted for, Harris confirmed. Detonate the charges, Cole ordered. The forest shook as explosions ripped through the Shrike stronghold. Relay towers collapsed, supply depots ignited, and the alien hive mind faltered, their coordination disrupted. The Shrike's signature tactic, overwhelming their enemies with perfectly synchronized swarms, was thrown into chaos. The Shrikes are in disarray, Harris reported. We've never seen them like this. Then let's not waste the opportunity, Cole said. Launch the secondary assault. As the human soldiers moved in to capitalize on the chaos, Cole turned to Kellen. What do you think? Are they starting to understand what they're up against? Kellen chuckled, glancing at the predators now resting in their reinforced enclosures. If they don't, they will soon enough. The battlefield erupted into chaos as the Shrikes scrambled to reorganize their hive mind. Their greatest strength was now their Achilles heel, fractured by the destruction of critical relay towers. The alien swarms that once moved with surgical precision now faltered, their movements jerky and uncoordinated. It was the opening. Major Cole had gambled everything on it. Secondary assault team is in position, Lieutenant Harris reported. They're moving on the central hive. Cole stood on the command deck of the transport ship, monitoring the operation through live feeds and holographic displays. Every move was critical. Earth's unorthodox strategy had brought them this far, but the Shrikes were nothing if not adaptable. What's the status of the Shrike reinforcements? Cole asked. Mobilizing, Harris said. They're pulling units from the north quadrant to cover the hive. Cole turned to Sergeant Kellen, who had been monitoring the predators' biomonitors. Can the beasts handle another engagement? Kellen hesitated, his brow furrowed. They're showing signs of exhaustion, but they've got enough left in the tank. They'll fight if we let them. Good, Cole said. Release Unit Delta. Kellen's eyes widened. The wolves? Are you sure? They've barely been tested in the field. Now's the time to test them, Cole said. If the Shrikes adapt to the bears and panthers, we need to hit them with something new. The order was relayed, and deep within the cargo bay, reinforced doors slid open. A pack of genetically enhanced gray wolves bounded out, their movements fluid and predatory. These weren't ordinary wolves. They were engineered for combat, larger and faster than their earthbound ancestors. Their eyes glowed faintly, a side effect of the neural implants that allowed handlers to direct their actions remotely. The wolves streamed into the forest, their biomonitors lighting up on the tactical map. They moved in perfect synchronization, a stark contrast to the disorganized Shrikes. Wolves are en route to the hive, Kellen reported. Let's hope they're as effective as the simulations. Cole watched as the wolves closed in on the Shrike reinforcements. The alien warriors, already struggling to maintain cohesion, were utterly unprepared for the new threat. The wolves struck like a storm, darting through the underbrush to tear into Shrike warriors with precision. Their sharp teeth found weak points in the aliens' exoskeletons, and their speed made them nearly impossible to hit. The Shrikes are breaking, Harris said, his voice filled with astonishment. Their reinforcements are falling back. Of course they are, Kellen muttered. They're not used to being hunted. Cole allowed himself a grim smile. The Shrikes had always been the galaxy's apex predators. Their swarms unstoppable, their tactics flawless. But now, they were learning what it meant to face something just as relentless. Signal the secondary assault team to move in, Cole ordered. And tell Unit Delta to keep the pressure on. The human soldiers advanced, exploiting the gaps created by the predators. Explosives were planted on the hive's central spire, a towering structure that pulsed with bioelectric energy. This was the heart of the Shrike hive mind, the source of their terrifying coordination. Charges are set, Kellen said. We're ready to blow it sky high. Cole nodded. Detonate. The explosion lit up the sky, a brilliant flash of light followed by a deafening roar. The central hive collapsed in on itself, sending shockwaves through the surrounding forest. The Shrike's movements became even more erratic as their hive mind splintered into fragments. Individual warriors fought desperately, but without coordination, they were easy targets. The hive is down, Harris confirmed. The Shrikes are in full retreat. Cheers erupted across the command deck, but Cole remained stoic. Victory was close, but it wasn't time to celebrate. Recall all units, he ordered. Get the predators back on board and prep for extraction. As the wolves, bears, panthers, and crocodiles returned to the transport ship, their handlers moved quickly to secure them in their enclosures. The predators were bloodied and weary but alive, a testament to their resilience. Cole turned to Kellen. What's the final tally? Kellen checked his tablet. Minimal losses among the predators. The human teams took some hits, but nothing catastrophic. All in all, a solid victory. Cole nodded. Good. Let's get off this rock before the Shrikes regroup. As the transport ship lifted off, Cole allowed himself a moment to breathe. The battle had been a success, but he knew the war was far from over. The Shrikes would adapt, as they always did. But now, they'd be facing an enemy that thrived on adaptation, a species that had turned the chaos of its homeworld into its greatest weapon. As Earth's predators rested in their enclosures, their wounds tended by handlers, Cole looked out at the stars. The galaxy was a dangerous place, but humanity had proven it could be just as dangerous. Let's see what the Shrikes come up with next, he muttered. We'll be ready.